Hello everybody, it is other kids of Coin Collectible. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm doing something quite important. I want to visualize and go over coin values. To represent my coin values, I have my wheat cent jar. Simply because I just have a lot of wheat cents and this will be a good representation. This here is a 1957 wheat cent. It is worth face value. And when it comes to coin lingo, face value means it's only worth 1 cent, or face. Here's the obverse, here's the reverse. Now, let's say it was worth 2 cents. Here is a second wheat cent, a 1958. And one of these being worth 2 cents may not seem like all that much money, but think about it in a different way. If something 1 cent originally is worth 2 cents, you just double their value. That's double what the coin is worth. It doesn't seem like all that much because of how little the monetary value is, but it can be worth quite a lot. Granted, if a nickel is worth 10 cents, you double it. If a quarter is worth half a dollar, you double it. So the higher up you go, the more impressive it's going to sound. Then let's say this wheat cent is worth 4 or 5 cents. This 1 cent is worth that many cents. Or how about if it was worth a dime? Let's say a wheat cent, like this one, is worth a quarter. What year is it? If it's worth this is worth a quarter, it's worth this much. This is what a quarter looks like if you just have wheat cents. Here, I have a wheat cent from 1914. It's very old. Let's say it was in way better condition and worth $1. This is what $1 and wheat cents actually looks like, which I would say is pretty cool. Gotta clean her up. Now that I've shown and visualized coin values for you, I'm thinking, what are the most valuable cents that are out there? I know of some famous ones, and maybe some not so famous ones. But today's video, I'm going to show you maybe 10 of them. I'll see how many I can grab, but it's going to be quite a few. My video is going to continue with my computer camera, so I'm going to tell you right now to make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit that bell icon. On to the video, and presumably number 10. The video may be titled 10, but I actually have 11, because I just couldn't leave this one out of the video. The 1955 double die obverse Lincoln wheat cent is perhaps the most famous double die era of them all, and the front of the coin of the obverse depicts one of the most prominent displays of doubling, which makes it extremely popular and valuable. The motto "We Gotta Be Trust" and the word "Liberty" are very clearly doubled, as the 1955 date as well. It's all depicted in this picture that I have for you. There's also a poor man's double die, which is nowhere near as noticeable. But a true double die, you'll know it's doubled. It can be worth about $18,501. The 1922 no-D wheat cent. All the 1922 wheat cents were minted at the Devon Mint. and they should have had the mint mark. An issue arose at the Denver Mint where the coin dies used to strike coins were being overworked and overused. Some coins would receive a weekday mint mark, and in some rare cases, the mint mark would be completely missing. The rest of the coin features would have weaker strike as well as the die, but it's because the dies were so worn out. The no-D variety is the rarest and the most valuable. One way to tell the difference between the weak D and the no D is that in the no D there is no trace of the mint mark, versus the weak D you can actually outline the mint mark. The 1856 Flying Eagle cent. It's the first of its kind. You see, pre-1856, there were large cents, and they were the size of a $50. In 1856, large cents turned to small cents, and they are the size of the cent that we had. The Trump administration abolished the cent, so there's no new ones, but it's the size of the cent that you see today in your cash drawer, or in your pocket, or in your car, or wherever. Only 2,000 of these coins were produced during this year, which makes them extremely, extremely valuable. I have two examples of value. If you find a proof, it's $21,644. But in uncirculated MI63 versions, over $30,286. The 1944 steel wheat cent. One of the rarest and most intriguing U.S. coins is the 1944 steel Lincoln wheat cent. Nearly all of these cents from 1944 were supposed to have transitioned from steel back into the copper bronze because copper was rationed in 1943 due to war efforts. And, however, similar to the 1943 copper cent, a small number of these zinc-coated steel planchets were left over. Only about 30 were left over. Only about 30 of these were ever minted about 80 years ago. And they could be worth $61,944. I know what you're thinking. Conservative coin collector, you just covered this coin. Why are you covering it again? It's not the same coin, but it's the same year. It's a 1944 Lincoln steel cent, but this one has a D mint mark. Like I said in the previous segment, only about 30 of these were ever minted, and only 7 of these were minted in the Denver Mint. So it's even rarer and more valuable than the coin that I just covered, because only 7 were minted instead of 30 altogether. Most experts believe there are still few yet to be discovered, making it about, I want to say, $3,000 or $4,000 more than the original 1944 at $65,662. The first Indian head cent on the list is the 1888 Indian head cent, but it's 8/7. There's a major variety of the 1888 Indian head cent where the 1888 date was punched over an 1887 date. This resulted in an 1888/7 or 8/7 variety, where a small but subtle portion of the 7 appears under the leading 8. Only one way to identify this error is to note a small knob under the 8, which represents the bottom of the 7. It's a very rare, very valuable Indian head cent, and if you find it uncirculated, it can set you back $78,582. A 1958 Lincoln Wood cent, face value, not much interesting, nothing to write home about. On the other hand, a 1958 double die obverse wheat cent is the rarest and most valuable DDO error of all the wheat cent series. Only a handful are known to exist, and these coins are best identified by the clear doubling of the "In God We Trust" and the word liberty. On the front of the coin, in addition, the 1958 is slightly doubled as well. It's not as prominent as the words, but these features can be seen in the example image that I have floating on your screen. In uncirculated condition, this can be $238,105. One of the rarest and most intriguing U.S. coins is the 1943 copper cent, copper wheat penny cent, or whatever you want to call it. In 1943, they're all supposed to be steel. However, a small number of copper planchets were left over from 1942, and they were used in 1943 during the transition to steel planchets. The 1943 copper cent was produced in all three mints, with about 20 being produced in Philadelphia. That makes it the most common of the three. Most experts believe that there are still a few yet to be discovered all these decades later. It's about $433,467. As I covered in the last segment there, all 1943 cents were supposed to be steel, but some of them made it into the 1942 copper planchets. An even rarer coin to exist is a 1943 S copper cent. It's rarer than the Philadelphia mint. It's actually the rarest of all the 1943 copper wheat cents, making it way more valuable than the rest of the coins. It's super valuable and worth $628,701. There are only about 30 1944 steel wheat cents ever minted. They were supposed to go back to copper, but only 30 steel ones made it through because they had some left over. Only about 7 of them had a Denver mint mark, and only about 2 of them had a San Francisco mint mark, just like this one, the 1944 S steel cent. With only 2 ever minted, makes it the rarest and most valuable 1944 steel cent ever to be, exist. Let's just say exist. And this is the first cent that is crossing the $1 million mark. It is worth $1,204,971. I talked about the 1943 copper cents, and I gave you the explanation of why they're so rare and valuable. The 1943 Denver version of this is even crazier and more rare and more valuable. It's the 1943D bronze/copper wheat cent. And the metal coppers, I don't know why they're called browns, because it's 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. The designer/engraver was Victor David Brenner, and the mintage, 1. Just one. Some experts believe that there probably still are some examples to be discovered, but right now, this is the only one to exist. And uncirculated, it surpasses 1 million. It surpasses 2 million. It is $2,441,838.